Meta is building an obscenely powerful AI model. Today, we're going to talk about what that means for you and your business. Hit like, let's go. So Meta's building this powerful AI model. This isn't their first shot at it. They've been building this for a while, but Zuckerberg has said that AI is probably one of the most important projects that they're working on short term. Long term, they're really focused on metaverse and augmented reality, which as a longtime gamer, someone who really enjoys that stuff, I'm stoked. Count me in. Keep working on it, Zuck. I like what you're doing over there. So let's read this article and get a better feel for where we're at now. Meta is developing an AI that can go toe-to-toe with OpenAI's most advanced model. The Wall Street Journal reported the news citing unnamed sources. You gotta love the unnamed sources. Yo, why don't y'all come out and tell us who you are? We'd love that. They said that the tech giant was working on a new AI system that aimed to be as powerful as Chat GPT 4. The news comes as the company seeks to catch up with its rivals, with big tech companies scrambling and to develop their own AI models, which again, Meta's not the only one working on this. Google, Microsoft, Google has Bard, Microsoft is working on this as well. This is the AI arms race. Like if you go back 23 years to the boom of the internet, you may remember AOL, Yahoo, Google, all these different websites. Like this is the release of the internet times 10. And if you're, by the way, if you weren't trying to keep up with what's happening with AI, it moves fast. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel so I can keep you up to date with what's happening, because it's every day something is happening that impacts your business. The journal reported that Meta could release the model, which is expected to be significantly more powerful than the company's recent release of Llama 2 AI at some point this year, which quite frankly, nobody's really talking about Llama 2 AI because it just didn't impact us as substantially as what they're working on now, potentially could. The AI will reportedly be primarily aimed at businesses as a tool for producing text and analysis. So I want to talk about this for a slight moment here. What does this mean for you as a business owner, as an employee, as someone who's a human being living in the world? Writing is really freaking hard. It's really, really hard. If you're like me, if you ever sat in front of a computer for 30 minutes just trying to figure out the first word that you're going to put out there, writing is really difficult. And using programs like Chat GPT, like AI, like whatever Meta is putting out here, while it might not give you the best final product, it gets the juices flowing, baby. It puts lead in your pencil so you can actually get moving. And quite frankly, in a lot of places, that's where you need the most help. The other thing I think that's really, really, really important here is that while writing is very difficult, especially for people overseas where English may not be their first language, or you might be writing in French or Spanish, whatever, even if that language, especially with English here, English is a very difficult language to write on and speak. It's really tricky, it's really complicated, but by using AI, you can turn a below average writer into what I would consider a really good and effective writer. So what does this mean for you in your workplace? Well, you're not just competing with the people in your office or the people in your city, your state, or even your country. You're competing with a 19-year-old Malaysian kid who is actually a very, very good writer now, thanks to these AI tools being able to produce text. I'm telling you, this is really, really important. It's really important. You can't afford to miss this. And analysis. So one thing that AI does really well, it's taking tons and tons and tons of data, aggregating it together, and coming up with summaries and resolutions based on all this data. I'll give you a perfect example. There was a hieroglyphic that was found somewhere in Egypt, over in the Middle East, and there was a tablet with like two Sumerian hieroglyphics on it. AI was able to actually look at it, contextualize it, taking in all the data that it understands. It was actually able to interpret this entire data set and interpret this language that previously was not able to be interpreted by even the world's greatest experts. So that's just another example of how AI is able to analyze things. Let's say you're a big law firm or you're a Wall Street trading company. AI can aggregate so much more data than the human mind can. It's hard for me to overstate how revolutionary this is. If you're like me, if you've ever looked at a spreadsheet and after 2 minutes, you're like, okay, my head's about to fry, AI can do it infinitely times better than you can as a human being. So I think this is where you're going to see businesses really looking to leverage this data. Furthermore, if there was any company that's positioned in order to use this data, it's Meta, because everybody's on Facebook, everybody has Instagram, you're browsing it all the time, you're liking what you like, you're sharing what you share, frankly, Facebook knows that you have colon cancer before you know you have colon cancer, because Facebook knows when and where you poop. In fact, Facebook can predict 30 minutes before you poop that you're going to poop. So, anyway, if you're like me and you've got a 4-year-old kid and you want to predict when he or she is going to poop, maybe Facebook can tell you. So as I kind of joke around and have some fun here, by the way, if you like that joke, leave it in the comments below. I'd like to hear your feedback on it. If you like that stuff, I'm going to keep bringing it to you. Regardless, if there's any company that's going to have the data required to make this happen, it's Meta. Not only that, but Meta has the distribution because so many people are using these programs and these platforms like WhatsApp, like Facebook, like Instagram, like Threads, that they have the distribution to test it and try it and roll it out. All right, so let's keep looking here. So the AI will reportedly be primarily aimed at businesses as a tool for producing text and analysis. This is similar to Chat GPT Enterprise, the business tier of OpenAI's successful chatbot, which launched last month, which is awesome, by the way. I love Chat GPT. In a departure from similar models launched by other big tech companies such as Chat GPT and Google's Bard, unnamed sources told the journal that Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg was pushing for the upcoming AI to be open source. Now, why is this important? Well, open source means that anybody can actually go in, interpret the code, and build on top of it, which I'm all for that. I like the open source. I want to know what's happening behind the scenes. One of the things that's been a big problem domestically when it comes to things like politics and voting machines, for example, is we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So open sourcing, I like the transparency. Give me the transparency. I'll take that. I'll take the transparency. Open source models are free to access and allow users to modify and use the AI however they want, however they want. Although Meta's models have restrictions and users must follow the company's terms of service. I mean, pretty standard there. I guess the question is, what are the restrictions that are going to be put on? We don't know. Hit subscribe to keep in the loop as we read into that. As flexible as open source models are, there are fears they could be used for malicious purposes, such as spreading misinformation or infringing on copyright. So the copyright thing is legit. I have quite a few, not quite a few, but I know several lawyers who are studying this. When you look at programs like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, who are taking all these data points from the web, using your text to create art, there are definitely copyright concerns there. We'll see how it rolls out. We don't know. Thankfully, we've got the AI czar, Kamala Harris. She's got it all under control. So thank you, Washington, for taking care of us. I want to touch on misinformation here for just a second, because I think this is important. Listen, the world has changed. The biggest issue we're going to have over this coming new world is you're just not going to be able to know what's real and what's not real. Truth is been completely obliterated. You're just not going to know what's real and what's fake. You're just not. And I think this is why being as honest as possible at all times is absolutely paramount, because your personal brand, your company brand are your greatest asset. And listen, CNN, MSNBC, I don't know what to tell you. Fox, y'all kind of ruined it for yourself. You kind of shoot yourselves in the foot, because in your search to create the biggest headlines and to put whoever you want into power, you're just lying all the freaking time, and nobody trusts you. Nobody's watching, and you're gasping for air. And I don't know what to tell you. You're spreading too much misinformation. So what does this mean? This actually opens up a massive opportunity for independent creators, smaller companies to arise. You're seeing companies pop up all over the place that are either conservative or liberal or whatever, because nobody trusts the corporate media. We get it. We get what you're doing. Does that mean that small outfits don't lie? Sure. Of course they do. Misinformation runs rampant. Heck, even the Ron DeSantis camp was sharing fake AI images of Donald Trump, which as a Floridian DeSantis, I like some of the things you did, brother, but you can't be doing that, bro. You cannot be producing fake AI images. You just kind of unleashed the dragon Cisco style for all you 90s folks out there. Regardless, misinformation is a problem. And quite frankly, the only way you're going to stop that is by stomping on freedom of speech, which I'm not for that. That's the First Amendment for a reason here in the United States. All that said, as consumers, as human beings, you need to understand, and this is really important, that misinformation is everywhere. There's no way to stomp it out. The most important thing is that you find the people, the creators, the sources that you trust. And don't take the word of someone else. You need to find people that you trust. The people that, quite frankly, are willing to tell you the good, bad, and the ugly. If you're following someone that only talks good about one political party or one company or one person or influencer, and they'll never speak bad about him, you probably have a problem, because there's good and bad in everything. Okay, I just want to make that clear. There's good and bad. We need checks and balances. So let's keep going. The Journal reported that Meta's lawyers have raised concerns about potential misuses of the company's AI model. Meta has increasingly shifted its focus towards AI as interest in the burgeoning technology has skyrocketed, with Zuckerberg describing it as a key theme for the company in a recent earnings call. The company faces a battle to catch up with the likes of OpenAI and Microsoft. However, with internal memos from last year obtained by Reuters, admitted that the company had a significant gap in AI research and investment. Since then, Facebook owner has been rapidly purchasing the precious H100 chips that are needed to train large language models, and is expected to rank second in the world next year in regards to its number of H100s, researchers said. So this is another big deal. I talked about this a minute ago. Meta has resources. They have your data. They have the distribution through these platforms, but they also have lots of money. Lots and lots of money. So, Meta is going to be a huge, huge player in the AI space. Meta has bet on open sourcing its AI models to cut the lead built up by its rivals, just like we talked about. The company announced it would open source its Llama 2 model earlier this year, making it free for research and commercial use, which is great. But I think, quite frankly, Llama 2 has been somewhat of a flop. That's their open source model. You can actually download it now. It just hasn't really hit the mainstream. It's just not that big. Not that big. Last thing I want to point out here before we log off, before you go and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, is that on September 27th and 28th, Meta is going to be doing a virtual call where they're going to be talking more about AI. If you don't have time to watch that, that's cool. I'll be there and I'll relay it to you right here, so you stay in the loop, so you stay competitive, so you are able to disrupt your industry and you don't get fired, so you can, your clients or your boss can hire a 22-year-old Malaysian kid. You got this. You got this. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for subbing. Peace.